Hi, so this is figure drawing tips to keep in mind part two. I had to split this video in half because it kind of was going longer than I wanted it to. So I ended up splitting it in two. Um, so today I'm going to go over Andrea's figure directly with some structure. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years. Okay, so one of the things that I didn't do was go over Andrea's drawing directly. I kind of first started with the gesture. So let's continue on with the video and I'll show you how I draw over her drawing. Okay, now a quick word about structure. I have a figure drawing teacher, Steve Huston, and I have these videos of his that I recorded, and they're not in my channel. They're actually in my ex-girlfriend's channel. She was good enough to post them up. And I'll link to this video in the description for this video. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that he has a way of structuring the torso. Now I'm going to really quickly go over the structure of the torso, because when I was having the email exchange with Andrea, she wanted to figure out how to do the Steve Huston structure. So this is the structure that I'm going to be going over. It's this kind of like what I call a Steve Huston bullet. So I'm going to break it down on her drawing so that it'll be easier for her to see what the bullet ought to look like. So having seen what the gesture of this pose ought to be, let me turn that off, and I'm going to go directly on Andrea's drawing. Now again, gesture first, okay? This structural part comes in second. So let me create another layer, and I just want to again emphasize that this is something that you ought to do after you've got your gesture, because the gesture is more important at first. And you've got all these torso things going on and all the structure and all the spirals going on, so everything guides you so that you know what direction all the limbs are going, etc. But specifically on Andrea's drawing, I'm going to go right over it. Now notice that she also got this correct. And we've already shown that there is a rhythm here. Now the Steve Huston bullet, as you saw, is a big cylinder that goes through the body. Now the advantage of the Steve Huston bullet, is that when you look at the torso, it forces you to, one, see what's going on here, and here. So you've got this kind of area already. See this? Okay. So I guess his would be right here. And because it's a cylinder, you can put the other side, remember we're talking a cylinder here, you can put the other side and check your widths with it. Watch out for this width. You want to get that spacing right. Now why is it called a bullet? We're assuming that this is kind of, a cylinder top, but And this is one of the things that I think is really handy about the Steve Huston bullet, is that it's a bullet. So what you do, you know, if you think about a bullet, this is what it is, a bullet. So this is the back of the bullet right here. And then this here, right in this area, is where the bullet, the front of the bullet comes in. It defines this abdomen section very simply. And in here you could put the rib cage, but you don't need to yet, because really human bodies, especially males, we don't have this hourglass thing going on too much. And women, the reason why they have this hourglass thing is because their hips are pronounced, right? And so it gives the illusion sometimes of, and the breasts gives the illusion of hourglass. But really it's fairly straight. And then once you've got this, you could draw the pubic area. Now Huston also draws what he calls the skirt. And that's this area here. So you could draw a ball like he did. You could draw a skirt, or you could draw a box. He uses all three. The skirt looks like this. This is one side of the pelvis, and it's rhythmically connected to the other side of the pelvis. So what we're basically doing is this. We're drawing the skirt. Now, I probably should have waited until after to do the pubic area, after I had this area. And then you draw the pubic area, which is a little triangle here. And then from the skirt, you can draw the legs. And again, check your negative space so that you can more accurately put the legs in. Let's be a little bit simpler here. S-curve instead of what I just did. Okay, and again we're going down this way. That's what, wait, nope, look this way. See, I was wrong. And this is going away. Okay, and this, now that you got this bullet, put the navel, and then you can decide what this torso is doing, which is probably this. Going this way, and then going down this way. Then you can put the chest area. So here this is the pecs. Remember, there's pecs going on here. Women have pectoral muscles. And the pectoral muscles should go in the perspective of the rib cage. And on top of the pectoral muscles, you've got the breasts and they're rhythmically connected. And on top of that, they should follow the perspective of the rib cage. And it's very hard with breasts because they are round. They're kind of like water balloons on top of the cylinder. So it's very difficult and very tricky to get them to look right. So what you usually do is you try to flatten this out and have this rhythmical connection happening this way. So you try to flatten this a little bit so that there is some kind of volume to how they lay on top of this cylinder. Okay? But notice how simple my lay-in is. It's not complicated. It's not lumpy bumpy. There's no start and stops. It's all watery. And if you watch the videos, I mean, I'm basically just repeating what Steve Huston was saying in those videos. So, hey man, I'm a student. All right. So that's what I would say. Going over her drawing. These are really just okay. So let me repeat myself here, just so that you can understand. Learn to draw gesture well, because gesture comes first. Even if it's sloppy at first, it's okay. Be sloppy. Be sloppy. Gesture first, structure second. After you've got the gesture right, which is more important than anything else, it's more important than the structure. Gesture is more important than the structure. I just said it 3 times. I'm going to say it one more time. Gesture is more important than the structure. After you got the gesture, then you can start doing the structure. This sort of structure you can do after you put the gesture down. I tend to combine this structure and make it into my gesture. Because I've done it so much that now I kind of combine a little bit of both. But I generally try to keep as simple as possible before I even start defining stuff. And when you're doing the gesture, you're keeping in mind as you're drawing it what the widths of the model that you're looking at, what the spacing between their edges are. Okay, that goes for limbs, that goes for torsos, that goes for legs. And in order to check to make sure that you're getting the right proportions, the right balance, what you're doing is looking at the negative spaces of the model as a guide, just anchor points, just so you could anchor yourself and have places to guide, okay, as guides. Once you've got this, then you can start thinking about structure and volume. And ideally, before you even start drawing any kind of structure, you want to draw these spirals all over your figure. Especially at first, when you're first beginning, you want to give yourself as much advantage as possible to be able to succeed. And drawing the structure means that you're going to be seeing the volume of the figure. Now, this is actually, I did it wrong. This is because this is actually more accurate. This coming this way and that going down. But it comes through practice and seeing, and yeah, you can correct yourself like I would here, like this, because this volume is wrong and this volume is wrong. I could go back in and fix it. This is going this way, spiral this way, and then it goes down that way. And this is going down this way. So spiral, spiral, spiral. And what this does is it guides you. It forces you to choose the direction those limbs are going, because a lot of the times you're not going to want to choose, and it forces you to choose. Then once you've got all that stuff down, then you can start putting the structure, and then you start doing the Steve Huston bullet for the torso. So again, the bullet, what it does is it helps you see the widths. Then you have the skirt, and then you put the limbs right off of there. Okay. All right, so that's all I've got to say about that. I'm going to do another video on studying and what to do, and then we're going to look more at the Steve Huston bullet after that. If you found this video valuable, I would like to encourage you to return value for value by becoming one of my patrons over on Patreon. Not only will you encourage me to continue making informative videos that are useful to you, but you get extra perks too. For only a small investment of $1 a month, you can get all new videos I create months before anyone else gets to see it. Also, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer as a patron, you get priority and I answer your questions first. High-tier patrons also get access to any art I do in high-res JPEGs, and also full access to PSD files to any work I do, including the PSD files of these videos. Currently, there's a huge backlog of downloadable files you can get, so right away you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. And the more patrons I get, the better these videos will get. The more content I can produce. In other words, the more you benefit. Please consider becoming a patron. Thanks. The links to my Patreon is on the screen and in the description of this video below. Okay, so I'll see you next time. All right, bye.